Guys, hintayin lang natin pumasok yung mga kaklase nyo. Ayan. Ayan na, ayan na. Pasok na mga kaklase nyo. Natin to. Paaga tayo ng konti. Guys, grabe, mukhang maging grabe yung traffic tonight May nagsabi na, may announcement kanina guys na yung ginagamit na, tawag doon, yung parang tunnel maker na machine, yung parang nandun sa spaceship, mga ganun itsura. Yung parang sa mga worms sa dun, ganun. Mukhang dadalhin na dyan malapit sa EDSA tsaka Camp Aguinaldo ba yun or something. So magta-traffic tayo ng big time mamaya. From 9 p.m. onwards dapat. Pero of course, with people already having a knowledge na magkakaroon ng ganyan na grabing traffic. Friday pa naman of all days. Ililipat nila yan. Mukhang lalala yung traffic. Ganitong oras pa lang tinitingnan ko dyan sa baba. Okay guys, magsimula muna tayo. So, pero good news naman at least, di ba? Feel natin guys, mukhang may mga nagaganap sa buhay. Ayan, pati sa Clark daw, may traffic na. At least. At least may mga gumagalaw sa ating bayan. Okay. Nasaan na to? Next. Nasaan nawala yung mga ano ko? Nasaan yung mga pulvoronic discussions? Wait lang mga ka-tiktokers. Maraming mga pulvoronic discussions dito. Ito yung sa Taiwan. Hindi yan. Ito siguro to. Bakit nawala? Ano nangyari? Bakit nawala? 1 second guys. Lalabas ko yung ang dami kong windows na bukas dito. Alam naman tayo. Dami natin ginagawa sabay-sabay. Sabay-sabay. Ikaw ang hari. Ano naman yan? Harry. May sinasabi naman si Harry. Si ex human rights lawyer. Ikaw ang hari. Ayan na naman tayo Nagte-trending naman dyan sa Twitter. Si Harry Man. Harry Truman. Hindi ito Harry Truman Harry Man. Okay. Simulan na tayo guys Handa na kayo, magbubulian na tayo. Bakit ang trending Paula Avellino sa akin? Maling yata to Maling pasok dito Saan yung trending ng politika? Aber. Punta naman tayo sa yung mga hindi nag-add sa akin guys Ito add nyo naman ako sa Twitter. Richard Haydarian. Yung legit yan. Naka-blue check yan. Add nyo naman ako guys. Bumalik naman yung static. Ewan ko sa inyo. Narinig nyo ako guys sa YouTube? Or may problema naman tayo dyan? Pakisabi kailangan ko naman ulitin yan if ever. Baka sinasabotayan na naman tayo Guys, clear ba tayo dyan sa YouTube? Mga Ayan. Okay. Enough ko na lang to. Okay yung sound. Sir naman. Ayoko naman mag-gaslight pero huwag na naman akong i-stress. Baka naman. BBM Czechoslovakia. Okay. Okay, go tayo. Ito na. Sisimulan na tayo, guys. Oh, loud and clear daw. Okay, good na tayo, guys. This is it. Let's get the ball rolling. Bumaba yung chair ko tuloy. Ito yung medyo may problema yung chair. Kailangan natin paayos. Pag ganyan natin, bumababa na naman tayo, guys. Ayan. Okay na natin ulit. Ayan, medyo kulang ng budget yata na itong screwdriver dito, Ayan, sarding sikap. Let's get the ball rolling. Ano sabi? May konting static daw, sabi ni Sir Echo. Loud and clear naman, sabi nung isa. May konting static, so hindi ko alam saan baka internet connection, guys. Mother. Nanood issue na TV. Marami kasi gumagamit ng internet Baka gungat issue na. Okay. Anyway, klaro naman din. Okay naman tayo sa TikTok, kaya I'm wondering where's this static thing coming from. Tolerable naman. Okay. Let's go. Okay sa TikTok, YouTube so-so daw. Pero hopefully maayos natin yun, guys. Now mag-live na tayo dito. 2, 1. Yeah! This is it! Ayaw tuloy. Okay. This is it, guys. This is it. Welcome to the latest podcast /vlog /bardagulan /heart to heart. Yan, magsimula na tayo ng mga heart to heart. By the way, shoutout dyan sa mga ka-gym natin kanina. Yan, si Sir Jared ba yung pangalan? Anong tinagan niya? May isa? Farrell, Jarrett, yan, yung mga kasama natin dyan sa gym. Hello sa inyo, maraming salamat. Nakikinig pala sa atin yung iba dyan. So good to know may mga kabataan. Medyo kabataan din nakikinig sa atin. So it's always a pleasure to see na we're expanding itong reach natin. Of course, katulad ng pinost natin isang araw, chinig natin, guys, pumapasok na rin tayo sa top 100. Sa Singapore, sa Japan, pati sa Ireland, guys. Tumapasok tayo sa top 100 sa News and Politics podcast. Of course, sa Pilipinas, alam niyo naman sino mga labanan, di ba? For number 1, I'm always glad with healthy competition. Ayoko yung mga unhealthy competition. And of course, alam naman natin sa Asia, sa Southeast Asia, isa tayo sa mga best-ranked, thank God, podcast. So we want to make this one of the leading podcasts in Asia, and nice to see. Hindi naman ako nag-feeling sa aking palagay siguro yung mga nagpataas ng rankings natin sa Ireland, sa Singapore, sa Japan, among others. Alam ko mga kababayan natin yan. May mga nag-comment, by the way, nung nasa Kyoto yata ako or Nagoya, or hindi, nasa Osaka na yata ako by this time, kung meron daw fans meeting dyan sa Japan. Guys, hindi pa ako ganun ka big time pa. Sana naman, pag medyo big time na tayo, arrange natin yan. Pero guys, I always look forward to catching up with mga kametas. Every time I had an opportunity to meet some kametas in some events, international conference, I tell you guys, nakaka-hearten, diba? To say the least. So thank you so much sa lahat ng ating mga kababayan, mga kametas na sumusuporta sa ating podcast, making us among the leading political podcast in the region and beyond. So sana tuloy-tuloy yan. Italy, Ireland, Singapore, Japan. Hopefully, one day, di ba, makapasok din tayo dyan sa Amerika, di ba, sa top 100 podcast, news and politics podcast sa Amerika. Pag nagawa natin yan, eto na, pwede na tayo mag-Hollywood. Yan. Pero seryoso, guys, super salamat sa inyong suporta. This is really heartening. And of course, naalala naman dun sa, meron din tayong mga reviews on some of the podcast international rankings and all, including reviews from Australia and mga other countries. So, I'm more than I feel more than privileged and humbled to see na meron tayong reach beyond our own nation, beyond our own horizons na at pati mga dayuhan. Mukhang puti, mga Australians yatang ano hindi Pilipino kasi English yung more basis nila yung ating geopolitical analysis. So I'm very, very glad to see that a distinctly Pinoy perspective is gaining traction all around the world. And yun talagang guys, hope natin na maging isa tayo sa mga boses ng Pilipinas, boses ng mga Global South at mga emerging countries sa Asia. Para hindi lang purong mga alam niyo na mga Western countries or hindi lang purong China, 'di ba? Or India, yung mga malaking bansa. Sana tayo rin, mga mid-range, mga mid-sized countries, magkakaroon din tayo ng boses. So I'm glad to see na there's appreciation of our geopolitical analysis. Obviously, guys, kung you want to know more about my geopolitical writings and analysis, ito, good news today, guys. Ito na, kakalabas lang sa Nikkei Asia. Ito yung leading business newspaper sa buong Asia and the biggest in the world. Lumabas yung article natin. So siguro ibang kababayan natin based in Indonesia or interesado sa politika sa Indonesia, they may want to take a look at this. Ito po yung latest article natin ngayon sa Nikkei Asia. Prabowo, ito yung newly elected president ng Indonesia and the outgoing defense minister. Ito po yung title ng article natin. Prabowo followed Marcos election playbook for better or worse. So, tinignan ko yung similarities, guys. Similarities between elections in Indonesia and sa elections in the Philippines. So, unang-una, I described the Indonesian elections as a TikTok revolution dahil nakita natin dyan sa Indonesian elections talaga gumamit ng parang talagang mala BBM yung ginawa. Kung si BBM naman ay cool uncle, BTS hairstyle, V-cut bomber jacket style na BTS gano'n, si Prabowo naman sa TikTok niya, ang ginawa niya naman yung parang cutie, lolo, tatay, ganun po yung branding sa kanya, no? So may mga chismis diyan sa Jakarta galing sa mga kaibigan natin na mukhang pareho or may overlap yung PR team ni BBM at saka yung PR team ni Prabowo Subianto ng Indonesia. So I have to confirm that myself, but this is very, very interesting. But the other thing that I found very interesting is parehong bansa may unit team. And the composition of the unit team is almost exactly the same. So sa Pilipinas, it was Marcos Jr., anak ng isang dating strongman, to put it mildly, at ang anak ng outgoing authoritarian populist or populist president, in this case, Sara Duterte. Pagdating naman sa Indonesia, ang nangyari mga kameta is Prabowo Subianto, yung dating son-in-law ng dating nilang diktador, si Suharto, and then ang katim niya yung anak na bata, mas bata pa kay Sara Duterte, and just like Sara Duterte, very inexperienced in national politics, okay? National politics. Of course, Sara had a lot of experience in Davao politics, regional politics, also to a certain degree yung anak ni Jokowi. And in both countries, close to 60%, I think 58% in both countries. So the numbers are almost exactly the same, right? Now, ibang usapan yung mga SD cards discussion and all. I'm not gonna get into it. Manood na lang kayo ng Boljak TV. Baka may makita kayong mga information dyan, alright? But so, yun ang ina-analyze natin guys sa Nikkei Asia. So please check it out. I look at the very interesting similarities between Indonesia and the Philippines in their latest elections on Valentine's Day. February 13 bang Valentine's Day? 12? Whatever. Or 14. Anyway. So I also look at the possibility that Prabowo, just like BBM, may turn out as a relatively pleasant surprise or not as scary. But I think I'm a little bit more skeptical even in the case of Indonesia. My sense is si Prabowo, mas malaki yung kanyang tendencies to push for a more authoritarian system, even more authoritarian than Jokowi, right? So please check this out. Kanina lang sinend natin ito dun sa mga advisors na mga, alam niyo na sino mga top politicians sa Indonesia and all. So guys, please check this out. So yun po yung ginagawa natin dito sa ating podcast. We just don't discuss local issues. As yun na naman guys, primarily ang aking expertise ay international affairs, global geopolitics at economic issues, no? So yun po yung talagang cover natin sa international newspapers, international publications. So paki-check dyan yung mga interviews din natin. You can check on leading media outlets. Of course, hinintay ko pa rin yung link para i-share ko sa inyo. Maraming salamat, especially dun sa mga YouTubers natin. Pasensya guys sa TikTok kasi alanganin yung internet natin, di ko kayo nasabay nun. So also sa Deutsche Welle sa Germany, The other day, nung nasa Osaka tayo, mag 12 midnight na drain na ako. Haba ng araw ko, 9 a.m. pa lang, pumunta na ako para mag-samurai, katana, ganyan. No, but thank you so much also dun sa mga nag-join sa stream, new program nila, new stream nila sa Deutsche Welle. And of course, maraming salamat also sa mga kameta natin who attended in person dun sa mga events natin dito sa Manila the other week, both sa BBC World Questions big event dyan sa Diamond Hotel. And of course, yung mga nag-attend sa aking talk, Ilustrado for the 21st Century, no? Dyan naman sa Leon Leon Gallery, dyan sa Makati. Thank God, good news, may mga plano tayo for more lectures on Ilustrados, more lectures on the golden era of the Philippines, and retrieving or kind of going back to the past in order to get inspiration for a brighter future. Speaking of brighter future, guys, bago natin pag-usapan ng Quiboloy at Duterte saga, nako po, ang dami naman nito. May news kanina umaga, nakita natin na ito na, speaking of Japan, yan, makalamatan na Japan. Guys, ito na, mukhang talagang papunta na tayo sa exciting part in a good way, in a good way. Mamaya na natin pag-usapan papunta sa exciting part in a malatatay way. Ito guys, mukhang tuloy-tuloy na itong subway project ng Japan. Japan sa Pilipinas, Japan sagot sa, yan, katrapikhan, yan, okay. Alright. Ito guys, mukhang tuloy-tuloy. Yung ginagamit nila yung parang worm ba yan? Yung parang worm sa dun, gano'n. Yung gumagana. Ang pangalan ulit, technical pangalan nun? Oh, yun yung gumagawa ng underground, diba? Yung you have to make a hole in the underground, diba? Para yan, dadalhin na dito malapit sa EDSA, so maging grabe yung traffic. So, sinabi ko nga kanina, hindi ko alam bakit ginawa pa sa Friday. But, at least, it's a good news, guys. It's a good news na may gumagalaw. May gumagalaw na sa... Richard po ang pangalan ko, ma'am, hindi Christian. Si Christian din tinatawag na Richard minsan. Ako tinatawag ako ni Christian. Since kailan kami naging interchangeable ni Lodi? Oh, kayo talaga, oh. Sinusutil niyo ba kami or ano yan? Honest mistake. But anyway, balikan natin. Yan. Tunnel boring machine. Boring kasi. Ito, yun ang gagamitin nila para gumawa ng tunnel dyan. Yeah. Tunnel boring machine. Maraming salamat guys dun sa mga nagsabi na. So things are moving. I mean, how should I say it? For all the frustrating things sa ating bansa, for all of the backwardness and katrapuhan, which we're gonna discuss later on, in spite of all of that, guys, medyo umaabante na tayo, guys. Umaabante na tayo. Kung pumunta ka sa Mall of Asia area, makikita mo may new completely expansion area na reclaimed and all, na napakaganda. Yun lang, purong pogo lang kasi dyan. But hopefully one day, hindi lang parang pogo ang mga dodgy nandyan. Hopefully one day, more of the Filipino middle class and new middle class will have a place there to go. Although, purong mukhang Chinese company nag-reclaim dyan. And then, of course, sa infrastructure, guys, mukhang tuloy-tuloy na ito. May news kanina, guys, ng Lufthansa ng Alemania. Salamat sa pagbisita ni BBM sa Germany, ay nag-agree na gagawa ng extra runway dun sa ginagawang higante, world-class, multi-billion-dollar airport. I think this is the one in Bulacan, no? If I'm not mistaken. Yan. So things are moving, guys. Next thing you know, paggising mo, may bago na tayong airport, God willing, na maganda, na world-class. Mamaya pagtignan mo, magkakaroon tayo ng subway na world-class, among the best in the world. Built by Japan to, guys. Built by Japan to. Yung yung design naman at saka yung mga hangars na ginagawa naman dyan sa new airport natin, Germany at saka Korea naman yan. So medyo bigatin to mga to, hindi yung mga beshi ni Tatay Digong. At speaking of which, guys, bago tayo pumunta kay Quiboloy at yung impending arrest ni Quiboloy, right? China. We have to talk about China. Importante ang China. Yan TikTok. Alam na this. Yan ang TikTok. No, guys. We have to talk about China. But I want to say this, guys. I want to say this. Okay? Siyempre, bilang isang Pinoy na, alam naman, I mean, Siyempre nakaka-frustrate kung nag-abroad ka, nakikita mo na talagang grabe yung pag-angat ng mga kapitbahay natin in Vietnam. Grabe, over the past 5 to 10 years, grabe yung growth and progress nila. Dati, purong motorcycle lang nakikita ko sa Vietnam. Ngayon, Diyos ko, purong mga... I see a lot of German cars, Benz, BMW. I saw Ferraris, but more importantly, I saw more VinFast, their own national cars, no? Thailand, sobrang ahead na sa atin. Yung infrastructure nila, parang Tokyo style na double deck, triple deck. Of course, Japan din nag-build sa kanila, makaramihan yan. At yung per capita income nila is almost $10,000 na, so more than twice the Philippines. Given in Malaysia, Singapore, sobrang ahead na sa atin. There's no point in even comparing. And then Indonesia rin, sobrang laki ng improvement nila. But guys, I'll tell you, in spite of lahat ng kapalpakan ng mga gobyerno natin, in spite of all the tatay legacy, in spite of all of that, dahil sa paghihirap natin lahat, yung mga OFWs natin na bayani, yung mga middle class natin dito sa Pilipinas, yung ating mga minamahal na masang Pilipino, lahat tayo nag-contribute dito. Kasi yung ginagamit guys, yung subway na ginagawa ng Japan dito ay hindi libre. Ano yan? Galing sa ano yan? Kaban ng bayan yung pagbayad natin dyan. At babayaran natin yan, dekada at dekada. Although, thanks naman sa Japan, hindi mataas yung interest rate nila. Sobrang 1% yung interest rate nila. Minsan, barely above 0% interest rate nila. So, this is a strategic agreement that was signed. MOA niya was signed. A memorandum of agreement was signed during the time of President Aquino in 2015 when former and the late, actually, God bless both of them. No, both of them have already departed. Both President Aquino and Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, they signed this in 2015, and then, in fairness naman, I'll give credit to this, both the Duterte administration and now the BBM administration, they're continuing that subway project. Shout out dyan sa Department of Transportation. Hopefully one day bigyan tayo ng tour dyan because I want to do some videos, I don't know, drone shots, I don't know, something nice about itong mga subway infrastructure projects natin dyan. But this is not to promote any government. This is about us, the Filipino people. We contributed to this. Now, may mga nagsabi dyan, si Jerry sabi na hindi magandang idea yung subway. I don't know, guys. You go to any modern country, at least may isa silang syudad na may subway. At least isang. Pilipinas nga, wala pang isang syudad, wala pang subway, di ba? Now, remember, this is Japan. So, they're gonna do proper feasibility studies, which they did. They're gonna do proper geological studies. They're gonna do proper flood control studies. So, hindi ito basta-basta. Kaya nga medyo matagal pag Japan ang gumagawa, tumatagal ng isang dekada among others dahil pinag-aralan talaga nila yung safety. At pinag-aralan talaga nila ano yung pinaka-modern 21st century. So actually, mamaya guys, if God willing, lalabas itong subway na to, baka mas maganda pa yung subway natin halos sa lahat ng mga kapitbahay natin. Because ours will be the latest edition of the Japanese subway. So I'm just saying, kasi alam mo guys, for all of my frustration about the Philippines and our country, hindi actually not about our people, pero yung sa mga politiko natin, governance natin, guys, tignan yung BGC. BGC was not there. I mean, ako medyo matanda akong millennial. So, I remember 15 years ago, purong parking lot nandun sa BGC, tapos may konting mga embassy, Jaipur, Prince of Jaipur, yung mga ganyan na bars. That's it. Ngayon, grabe, isang syudad na siya, parang isang Dubai na siya, di ba? Punta ka naman dyan sa Mall of Asia area, isang Macau na siya, di ba? Now, obviously, ang problema sa atin is, ang laki ng growth. We are still the fastest growing economy ng ASEAN, pero hindi siya inclusive. Kaya kahapon, kaya dun sa lahat ng podcast, ang sinasabi ko is kailangan mag-step up na si BBM, kailangan mag-step up yung mga ekonomista natin, kailangan natin kumuha ng mga investments sa manufacturing, semiconductors, high-end, para gumawa tayo ng mga trabaho na nagbibigay ng magandang kabuhayan, nagbibigay ng kasiguraduhan, security of tenure, nagbibigay ng magandang sahot, para ma-build up din natin guys yung ating middle class. Yan naman sabi ni Sir Angel, subway bahayin. Kaya nga may siyensya po eh. Hindi naman ng Pilipinas ang tropical country na may subway eh. Ginagawa ng subway na yun sa maraming tropical countries. If I'm not mistaken, also Malaysia, some parts, I think they have like highways na may flood control system sila. So guys, kaya ng siyensya yan. As long as it's done properly. And as far as Japan is concerned, mas tiwala ako sa Japan almost over any other country pagdating sa public infrastructure development. Because let's not forget, Japan has an experience of building infrastructure sa Philippines more than any other foreign country na big infrastructure. Tingnan mo sa EDSA. Tignan mo sa marami tayong mga major thoroughfare. Pag dinadaanan mo, makikita mo Japan-Philippine project, Japan-Philippine project. So, I have a lot of confidence in Japan relatively. Of course, walang perfecto. I'm still waiting for the final project. Pero, ang pagkaalam ko, by next year, guys, God willing, again, bubukas na some of the stations dyan sa subway, baka Makati daw or BGC, and some of them will be open. But if you look at the map of the subway, it's going to cover huge parts of Metro Manila. And it's going to be a game changer. It's not going to make Philippines, I don't know, Sweden or Denmark overnight. You know, let's get realistic about that. But I think it will make a huge, huge difference. And you know, I look really forward. Yeah, Malaysia Smart Tunnel. Thank you, Sir KG. So yeah, so you can look at actually other ASEAN and other tropical countries, no, Latin America, Philippines, etc. Na meron silang mga very smart flood control systems, no. Kaya nga sabi ko maganda nga Japan yung gumawa. Hindi yung ibang bansa. Now, let me be very clear about this. I've been to China. I've been to China multiple times. Hindi lang Hong Kong, as in mainland China, as in Beijing, China, right? And I'll tell you what, China has a lot of impressive things there. Their infrastructure is impeccable. Everything was QR code nung 2015, 2014 pa lang pumupunta tayo dyan. Halos lahat ng tao, digital currency na. Ngayon, China is a superpower sa automotive and EV industry. I'll give it to them. And pagdating sa sa mga train, from childhood, I already had experience of riding China-made subways. Pero sa ibang riyon ng mundo yan. And of course, we also know, pag tinignan mo, may mga kaibigan tayo dyan na, nung nasa Washington DC ako 2 weeks ago, may nakausap tayo mga kaibigan dyan na gumamit ng China-made bullet train dyan sa Laos. And I'm hearing pretty okay things naman dun sa ginawa ng China sa Bandung, Jakarta. So let's be absolutely clear. I think China could be a fantastic partner for the Philippines. China has a lot to offer. Yung talagang yung magnetic, ano nila, 'di ba? Yung technology nila sa subway, sa bullet train nila. Para mas mabilis yata yung bullet train nila sa Japan pa, no? But obviously, I mean, my point with Japan is they started this. They were really ahead of everyone else. I did bullet trains at Italy and Europe. So I did ride railway systems in Germany, in Italy, and other countries. But I would say iba pa rin in Japan. But having said that, China has a lot to offer. So I'm all for more cooperation with China. Yes, maglev. Thank you, Sir Francisco, for that. Yes, maglev sila sa China. It's really impressive. It's really impressive. It's exactly on time. It's squeaky clean. Beautiful, beautiful. I mean, you go to Laos, the most amazing thing there, aside from their fantastic heritage and all, is the China-made subway. Having said that, you cannot just be looking at the shiny surface. Like for instance, in Bandung, Jakarta, high-speed railway ng Indonesia, sobrang over budget, sobrang matagal. I remember 3 years ago, you can check it on Nikkei Asia among others, Indonesia was openly considering asking Japan back because binigay yung project sa China kaysa Japan. But remember, President Xi Jinping, when he visited Indonesia in the 2010s, he made a strategic decision na yung gagawin nilang project sa Indonesia ay sobrang ganda ng terms of payment. So I think yung interest rate nun is like 1 to 2% lang. Because napakamahalaga Indonesia. Yes, levitating magnetic train. Yes, thank you so much, maglev, to put it shortly. So yeah, I mean, I know how impressive China is, and I have a lot of admiration for the Chinese civilization and all. Ang sinasabi ko lang dito, guys, ay hindi po subway yung sa Laos, guys. High speed, ano yan? Bullet train po siya. Maliit lang kasi yung Vientiane eh. But it's a bullet train. It cuts through their big cities and all. But yung reklamo is usually China makes a lot of fantastic projects, but they're overpriced. They mostly rely on Chinese technology, Chinese workers. And then you also have cases like Hambantota Airport in Sri Lanka, known as the emptiest airport in the world. Like ang gandang airport pero hindi siya based sa proper economic feasibility study, assessment, no. So what I'm saying is that I'm okay with dealing with China, but provided hindi lang purong China ang mga workers, provided my technology sharing, technology transfer, provided my input din ng Philippines sa engineering, because actually China wants to also China has been also trying to build, so yung Laos, ang plano nila Laos, i-connect nila sa Thailand, And then pababa, i-connect nila sa Malaysia. And then Singapore, right? So yun yung plan. Pero yung Thailand kasi hindi pumapayag na purong China lang yung workers, China yung technology and engineering. They want also Thai input. So I think we can learn something also from Thailand. So I'm all for cooperating with China to build it, but we have to make sure it's really mutually beneficial. Hindi lang yung mga Chinese company nagbe-benefit. And also it's made under proper economic assessment, meaning yung interest rates, meaning yung terms of payment, meaning yung terms of contract, walang wishy-washy, walang dodgy-dodgy, walang NBNZTE, yung mga ganyang kalokohan, di ba? Because we had many bad experiences with China in the Philippines. At kasalanan din ng mga kurakot natin politiko. Kasalanan din ng mga treasonous na tao dyan. Now, speaking of dealing with China, kagabi guys, I was just scrolling through things and lumalabas na ngayon guys before natin pag-usapan si Quiboloy because as we talk we're waiting for even more updates on this. Interestingly guys, very interestingly, there is now a very public discussion dito ukol sa umano'y secret deal ni Digong with China sa West Philippine Sea. Seryoso po ito dahil this has huge implications. I mean, you can say words like the T word could be used. And interestingly, no less than Erwin Tulfo, who's now number 1 in service to be the next senator, and of course, the Tulfos are now really in ascendancy.
Kung meron bang kasunduan kasi
came out very strongly and said, dapat magkakaroon ng clarification si Digong. Ano ba talaga itong sinasabi ng China dahil may announcement ng China 3 days ago, earlier this week, na meron daw silang kasunduan with Digong na wag yun yung position natin sa yung Shoal. So essentially, alam niyo na this. So ito yung statement ni Erwin Tulfo. And remember, the Tulfos are very good friend at least before of the Dutertes, right? Especially Erwin, he has a very good relationship with the Dutertes back in the day. So let's see here.
Answer that kung meron bang kami privy maging ang administrasyon po na ito. So maganda po siguro the former president will answer that kung meron bang kasunduan kasi I believe before previously sinasabi nila wala, dinenay nila yung Shoal na yan. So it would be better and the right person to ask
Erwin Tulfo guys to, hindi Rafi Tulfo.
Is yung dating pang.
So ito, so ulitin natin ito yung
Answer that kung meron bang kami privy maging ang administrasyon po na ito. So maganda po siguro the former president will answer that kung meron bang kasunduan kasi I believe before previously sinasabi nila wala, dinenay nila yung Shoal na yan. So it would be better and the right person to ask that question and answer it is yung dating pang.
Okay, so clearly nag-wash ng wala kaming alam dyan, nagugas kamay na sila. At interesting sinabi na even the current administration, meaning administration ni BBM, walang informasyon tungkol dito. So this looks like allegedly this looks like a secret deal na hindi na-inform yung incoming administration. Kasi remember guys, pag nanalo ang isang bagong administration, mayroon transition period. At doon sa transition period, dapat binibrief yung incoming administration, hindi lang incoming president, doon sa lahat ng mga major deals. Especially mga not naman secret, but confidential deals na ginawa ng isang outgoing president that will fall within the jurisdiction and mandate of an incoming president. Especially in matters concerning national security and foreign policy. Because ito yung area kung saan ang laki ng purview and ang laki ng room for maneuver ng presidente. So, earlier this week, finally itong China ay nagbooking na sino ang tinutukoy nila nung sinabi nila na meron silang agreement with an ex-Filipino president and administration na dapat ang Pilipinas hindi i-fortify yung ating position dyan sa Ayungin Shoal. Remember guys, sa Ayungin Shoal, alam niyo na, yung BRP Sierra Madre, medyo eyesore na, medyo grabe na yan, di ba? Na nagfa-fall apart na yan. So, nangako ang Marcos administration at ating sandatan lakas na palakasin nila yung position natin dyan, pagandahin nila yung base natin dyan, yung facilities natin dyan. So immediately nag-react ng China na bawal po yan or hindi ito tugma dun sa kanilang kasunduan sa isang dating administration. Hindi nila na-clarify. So kaya naalala niyo guys, immediately lumabas si JV Ercito at lumabas si Jinggoy Estrada at sinabi nila hindi ito yung tatay nila. Because remember, it was Erap Estrada. I mean, for all of his huge faults, I'm definitely not a fan of Erap. Erap was the one who decided na, sige, iram na natin itong BRP Shermat, i-park na natin dyan para wala na magyabang-yabang dyan. At least naisip ni Erap yan, di ba? For all of his frailties and shortcomings and all. So na-clarify immediately ang mga Estrada brothers, the good one and the, well, not the good one, if how should I put it, diba? Na hindi si Erap Estrada ang nag-agree sa China na hindi palakasin yung position ng Pilipinas dyan sa West Philippine Sea, particularly sa Ayungin Shoal. So immediately nag-fall ang suspicion, who's the next president? Not Aquino, obviously, Arroyo, kay President Arroyo. Because kung maalala niyo, under President Arroyo, we had a number of big agreements with China. Kasama dyan yung NBNZT na talagang sangkot sa right and left corruption cases. No? Kasama din dyan yung North Railway project na deemed unconstitutional by the Philippine Supreme Court later on dahil ito ay nag-violate ng bidding procedures. So dodgy, corrupt, problematic. But most importantly, si Arroyo ay nag-sign ng Joint Maritime Seismic Undertaking sa West Philippine Sea kung saan ang Pilipinas, Vietnam at China ay nag-agree na jointly mag-explore sila ng mga oil and gas resources dyan sa mga parte ng West Philippine Sea. And that agreement had clauses. May mga parte dyan, may mga provision dyan na confidentiality, na dapat hindi ito ma-scrutinize ng mga ibang stakeholders, including ibang branches of the Philippine state. That was highly problematic. And that's why eventually the JMSU was taken to the Supreme Court and last year may ruling na unconstitutional yung JMSU na ginawa ni Arroyo. So immediately, that raised suspicion na baka ito yung sinasabi ng China na hindi palakasin yung position ng Pilipinas sa Ayungin Shoal ay sa ilalim ni Arroyo. Dahil si Erap ay yung medyo siga-siga, si Arroyo ay napaka-friendly sa China. So baka si Arroyo yun. But President Arroyo also made it clear na hindi siya yun. Yung mga kanyang opisyalis dati na nandito pa rin, na nag-clarify na hindi sila yan. So the suspicion would fall naturally on Digong. But the Digong camp have been denying this for quite some time until binuking sila ng China mismo. So ngayon, ito yung news. Inis na inis ang Department of Foreign Affairs of Philippines. Inis na inis ang administrasyon natin. Inis na inis na rin ang Kongreso, no? At ang ating mga otoridad sa iba't ibang branches of the government dahil mukhang hindi sila informed. As you could hear from Erwin Tulfo, they're not privy to the details of this deal, whatever deal, this secret deal that China has been talking about. So ano to? 'Di ba? Ano to? 'Di ba? Very suspicious to, guys. What's going on here? 'Di ba? So let me just read itong news and analysis. So galit na galit ang Department of Foreign Affairs kasi ang China po ay nagbubuking ng potentially sensitive details, no? Ukol sa mga negotiations nila with the Philippines in the past. Of course, ginagawa ng China yan for propaganda reasons para maging mukha sila pa yung tama o sila pang biktima. Ganun naman parati, mga kung sinong bully, kung sinong siya pang victim. 'Di ba? So ang kiniklaim ng China is wala silang maling ginagawa, yung ginagawa lang nila is they're just implementing yung kanilang kasunduan with the Duterte administration, right? So it turns out Beijing had been operating on a different reality. Ito yung ukol sa report na ito. I'll post it later. Not just on how they see features in the West Philippines or the status of relations between Philippines and all. It seems Beijing had wanted, quote, some understanding and acquiescence in trying to negotiate with the Philippines under Duterte administration. Ito ay ayon sa isang report sa Manila Times, quoting a Chinese official. Ayon sa report na to, China wanted the Philippines to, quote, commit not to transport large-scale building materials to reinforce the Sierra Madre. Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina, na ayon sa China, nangako ang Duterte administration na hindi nila palakasin yung ating posisyon dyan sa Ayungin Shoal, even if itong BRP Sierra Madre ay bumibigay na. bumibigay na. I mean, tignan naman ang itsura ng BRP Sierra Madre. Di ba? Nagkaroon tayo ng isang malaking vlog dyan na sobrang nakaka-frustrate na naman. Ganun na kalagyan. In fairness naman, at least may effort. At least naman may effort ang kasalukuyan administration na medyo ayusin ito. At kaya naman gawin yan. I know, I talk to people who know what they're talking about. At sabi nila, pwede naman ayusin yan ng maayos-ayos lang. Huwag lang tayo maingay. So, ang sinasabi ng China, wala kayong karapatan mag-ayos yan kasi nangako si Digong Nangako yung Digong administration na hindi nyo ayusin yan. So, gigiba na yan. Hintayin nyo lang gigiba yan. And then, tayo? Magbabardagulan na tayo dyan. Parang crazy, di ba? Crazy, di ba? So, again, pakita ko lang sa inyo, yung mga hindi nakakita, pwede na may Google din yan, na napakagrabe, di ba? Yung situation sa BRP Sierra Madre. Talagang bibigay na yan. In fact, may mga eksperto na nagsabi, may mga na-interview tayo dati na parang shock sila na hanggang ngayon, andun pa rin ito. So, hindi nila alam ko dahil sa pandemic yan. So, guys, ito yung itsura, di ba? Ito yung itsura, guys. Grabe, di ba? Kitang-kita nyo talaga na hopeless case yan. If you leave it to the elements, it will be overtaken by the elements. Diba? Grabe, diba? Tingnan niyo naman, guys. Diba? Grabe yung itsura, diba? Grabe yung itsura. So, actually, the expectation was 2-3 years ago, wala na, gigiba na yan. So, mapipilitan na tayo mag-exit dyan. And then, pwede na pumasok ang China. So, siguro, yun ang calculation ng China. At akala nila, Duterte pa rin yung presidente natin. Akala nila si BBM ay magtututa-tuta lang. Ayan, hindi nangyari yung in-expect nila. Ay, visit sila, inis na inis sila ngayon. So, ang sinasabi nila, bakit? Hindi kayo katulad na. Yung mga katulad, alam niya na, may nakita na naman silang bakanteng lupa dyan. Baka naman, pwede natin gawin yan, no? Sabi ng China, bakit? Bababa tayo. Diba sinabi niya sa amin na hindi niya ayusin yan? Ginaganon talaga. Kinakaren tayo ng China ngayon. So, malaking issue yan, guys. So, kung totoo na talaga may agreement na ganun ni Duterte, and binubuking na sila ng China ngayon, at base dito sa report ng Manila Times, alam niyo naman, Manila Times, then, kailangan natin tignan na mabuti yan because that means dodgy stuff happen. Baka naman, may bakanteng alam niyo na. Hindi ko na wag na natin itag. So ito Department of Foreign Affairs nung earlier this week sinabi nila earlier this week na ito hindi maayos yung ganyan start. So sabi ng DFA, from the outset the DFA wishes to underscore that the Philippines is approaching this confidential negotiations. So, bakit binubuking ng China yan? Confidential dapat yan, di ba? And then, para sa akin nga, hindi lang yan. Wait lang, may ginawa si Digong na hindi niya sinasabi sa susunod na administration. So, ito sabi nila, these are confidential negotiations with utmost sincerity and good faith. We were therefore surprised by China's disclosure of sensitive details of our bilateral discussions. Right? One proposal raised by Chinese Vice Foreign Minister Sun Weidong back in March 2023 meant quote, actions that would be deemed as acquiescence or recognition of China's control and administration over the Ayungin Peninsula as a Chinese territory. So meron daw gentleman's agreement. So medyo booking na siguro hindi talaga babae involved. As Ayungin Peninsula is part of the exclusive economic zone of the Philippines, the proposal of China could not be considered by the Philippines without violating the Philippine Constitution or international law ayon sa DFA. So sabi nila, anong pinagsasabi ng gentleman's agreement? Ano ba to? Hindi naman ito yung mga usapang sa tambay kanto. Pare, ako nang bahala dyan sa pare, sige, ikaw na, bahala. Hindi pwedeng ganun. Pinag-usapan natin dito, guys, ay national interest. Teritorya ng bansa natin. Seryosong bagay po ang pinag-usapan natin. Hindi pwede gentleman's agreement na yan. So, ayon sa DFA sa Pilipinas, while a few proposals were deemed somewhat workable, many of the remaining Chinese proposals were determined after careful study, scrutiny, and deliberation within the Philippine government to be contrary to our national interests. Meaning, kung nag-agree ka sa mga proposal ng China na yan, then essentially, you're violating the Philippine national interests. May tinatawag dyan, I think, treason, to put it nicely, if you agree to those kinds of agreements. Now, to be fair, we have to still hear from the Duterte camp kung nag-agree talaga sila dito or yung China, since nagbubuking na naman sila ng mga kalokohan na ginagawa nila dati panahon ni Digong, di pakita nila ng China kung nag-sign ang mga Duterte administration officials dito sa agreement na yan. Basta ang DFA ay naghugas kamay at sinabi nila, nag-negotiate kami, nag-usap kami, pero hindi kami nag-agree dun sa mga sinasabi nilang proposal. Kasi hindi ito tugma sa interest ng ating bayan. Ito ay, to put it nicely, they should have said it. This is treasonous, the way if we did that. Right? You're essentially giving up the Philippine claim in the area. Remember, ang ngayong initial po ay hindi territory. It's just a low tide elevation that falls within our continental shelf and exclusive economic zone. So parang extension din siya ng ating territory in that sense. So this is a very, very interesting development, mga kameta. So that's why I'm saying, you cannot look at the Quiboloy issue, so now we're transitioning here, without also looking at the Duterte issue. Because I think lahat ng mga yan ay related sa isa't isa. Lahat ng mga yan ay related sa isa't isa because Quiboloy and Digong are joined at the hips. And Quiboloy now is in a far more shaky, on far more shaky grounds, legally speaking. But itong mga insinuations ng China dun sa gentleman's agreement nila with Digong, this could be also grounds for something very, very serious in addition to the very, very serious issue of ICC. And let's not forget, this is the same guy who back in January called for rebellion. Incitement to rebellion, which of course is another high crime. When he said dapat mag-separate ng Mindanao, right? Except walang pumatol sa kanya, except, I don't know, si Pantaleon Alvarez, yung mga ganyan types, di ba? Beyond Davao world, walang pumatol sa kanila sa Mindanao. But still, I mean, these are serious stuff. Kaya kahapon, guys, sinasabi ko, ito si BBM, hindi ako agree doon sa sinasabi na, hindi ako na personal. This is not about you, BBM. This is not about you being a cool guy. This is about a direct assault and insult against the dignity of the state and the office and the mandate that you represent. Well, di ba, nanalo ka, di ba? So you represent the Philippine state. You represent the mandate of the people. At kung ganyan ang ginagawa ng isang kampo, at ngayon, may mga allegations from China pa. Pinapahamak pang China si Digong di ba? Ibang klase talaga sila. Sila lang, laglagan na sila. Maglaglagan na kayo. Basta mga Tulfo, ibang others, lumalayo na sila dito sa issue na yan. At mahalaga yung sinabi ni Erwin Tulfo Pati sila, hindi nila alam ang detalye nito. So ano to? Ano ito? Now, speaking of Quiboloy, guys, pag-usapan natin yan because, my goodness, our country, ang dami nangyari sa bansa natin. Now, speaking of Quiboloy, today is supposed to be the decisive day, right? Ito na. So, Robin Hood Padilla failed to come up with any justifiable basis dito sa kanyang opposition sa issuance of another contempt and accordingly warrant of arrest against this person of interest in light of the subpoena laban sa kanya. The numbers were just not there. I think mga tatlo lang nakuha niya, mga Amy Marcos types, Cynthia Villar types, yung mga ganyan lang nakuha niya. Si JV nag-back out. So, show cause order ang pinapahanap ni Mig Zubiri. Nag-insist si Mig Zubiri na he's just gonna do his ministerial duty here, walang personalan, walang politika, etc. But this is it, guys. This is it. Quiboloy camp nag-respond siya sa Senate show cause order. Pinipilit niya talaga na he doesn't need to attend the probe. Alright? So ayon sa kanyang counsel, sa kanyang abogado, we followed the order and submitted within the required 48 hours from the morning of March 13. Ito yung mga additional explanations na kailangan daw in terms of explaining bakit hindi siya nagpapakita. Of course, alam din natin, among the other things na ginawa niya, ito yung 17 conditions na, of course, ang debate ngayon, condition number 14 na 5-star ang hiningi ang mas mahalaga, or condition number 17 kung saan inaway niya buong Senado and all of that. Ito yung sinabi ni Attorney Balayan. Sabi niya, hanggang nakasalang po ang aming compliance and show cause order, hintayin po namin ang tugon ng Senado sa aming legal compliance, at from there we will take it po kung ano ang the best legal avenue or legal actions we should take. So essentially, kicking the can down the road. Kagaya po ng paulit-ulit na sinasabi namin, yung resolution mismo po ay sinasabi na guilty na po sa mga krimen si Pastor, at ito ay patuloy niya na kino-commit. So ang argument nila dito is prejudicial na yung hearing. Hindi ito in aid of legislation, hindi ito prejudicial. Meron na judgment. May hukom na. There is a limit to Congress authority to prove. That is to regulate, control the legislator from abusing the fundamental Bill of Rights of resource persons or witnesses. So they're questioning essentially whether this hearing is valid to begin with. But let's not forget, of course, Quiboloy is on the list of FBI's most wanted over alleged conspiracy to engage in sex trafficking, fraud, coercion, and sex trafficking of children, sex trafficking by force, fraud and coercion, conspiracy, and bulk cash smuggling. Ito po yung mga kaso ng FBI. Last March 7, Central District of California Judge Terry Hatter Jr. ordered the unsealing of the arrest warrants against the person of interest and his co-accused. Okay, so, oof. So kanina lang guys, ito na sinabi. So both lower house and upper house, both Kongreso and Senado ay nag-insist na it's just a matter of time before this arrest happens. So ayon sa Surigao del Sur 2nd District Representative Johnny Pimentel, ito na, as expected, no feedback from the lawyer, the lead counsel of Quiboloy. I knew from the very beginning it was just a delaying tactic. So nagdi-delaying tactic lang daw sila. So accordingly, once clear na itong delaying tactic na yan, ay hanggang delaying tactic lang at walang basihan talaga, then it's a matter of time they move for arrest. Now, just to be clear guys, let's not forget, the lower house is going after Quiboloy not on the allegations of abuses and all, but on the SMNI issue. And as you know, ang SMNI also is on the verge of losing its franchise and joining the dustbin of history. Now, si Riza Ontiveros in the meantime also is insisting na dapat na mag-move na tayo sa ibang level. Yes, thanks Don. Yes, filibuster. That's one term that you can use. Of course, alam niyo na sa US Senate, sa US Congress, filibuster is when, let's say, for instance, ayaw ng isang kampo na mapasa isang batas, so magsasalita sila ng diretsong 18 hours. If I'm not mistaken, si Ted Cruz, di ba? Yung taga-Texas na Republican na biglang Trumpian na ngayon. Did he speak like 21 hours or something, 18 hours or something like that to delay yung Democrat Senate majority from pushing ahead with certain votes. So ginagawa talaga yung mga delaying tactics na yan all around the world. Well, in the meantime, si Senator Riza Ontiveros has already pushed for the arrest of the self-proclaimed, alam niyo na, fill in the gap, as he continues to reject the Senate panel's summon to answer accusations leveled at him. Ang position ni Riza Ontiveros talaga dito is wala siyang talagang so hindi siya sang-ayon dun sa sinabi ni Attorney Balayan na yung Senate Resolution number 884 totally disregarded the constitutional presumption of innocence until proven guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Now, again, this is very interesting from people close to the Dutertes, if not more than close to the Dutertes, talking about presumption of innocence. Because last time I checked, when Digong launched his drug war, and there were people dropping dead right and left, right? I didn't hear that emphasis on presumption of innocence until proven guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Hindi proven guilty lang dahil lang sinabi ni ganyan, dahil lang kunyari ng laban, yung mga ganyan stuff. So it's very interesting. When it comes to others, suddenly it's all hindi talagang mga kriminal sila, hindi sila ganyan. Pero pagdating sa kanila, hindi, dapat talaga may presumption of innocence, dapat beyond reasonable doubt na proven guilty sila. Yan na naman yung mga selective na naman style nila. Tapos pabayani-bayani, protect press freedom pa silang nalaman. Considering what happened to ABS and all of that. Speaking of ABS, by the way, yung show yata nila Vice Ganda, maging main na sa GMA, ha? What an era we live in. Wow. Big time, right? Big changes. So at least, dahil sa Vice Ganda and all, medyo very dynamic ang ating media landscape. Ayon sa lawyer niya, ni Quiboloy, yung kanyang refusal to attend is not a sign of disrespect but is purely based on the fact that the criminal accusation against him can only be legitimately settled before competent courts. So in short, hindi competent court yan. But last time I checked, the Riza camp is providing evidence or helping with the investigation. So Justice Secretary Remulla earlier ordered prosecutors in Davao and Pasig to file cases of sexual abuse of a minor and qualified trafficking against itong person of interest na yan. In his previous statement, si Quiboloy naman sabi na he did not respect Ontiveros and those who supposedly trampled on his constitutional rights. So ano ba talaga? Nirespeto niya ba? Hindi niya respeto. Anyway, ang position ni Riza Ontiveros is very clear. Magpakita na lang si Quiboloy, bakit ba ang dami pa niyang drama? O yan. O, dapat ganun kasi yung mga opposition leaders. Hindi mabait. Ganyan na. Alam na yan. Okay. Ontiveros also said Quiboloy's camp had asked the Senate to tackle the matter about the show cause order before the plenary. So, dalhin sa plenary, ibang klaseng drama na to. Okay. So sabi ni Ontiveros, sa totoo lang, wala nga sa rules ang show cause order. It was a courtesy extended to Senator Robin at the request of the Senate President Zubiri. So that's very interesting. So Ontiveros is actually somehow questioning the claim by Senate President Zubiri na kailangan talaga magpakita ng show cause order dahil daw dun sa precedents ng Farmali, Michael Yang. O alam niyo na, okay. Kung wala nga sa rules ang show cause order, much less wala sa rules na kailangan ng hearing in plenary to resolve the show cause order. So, ang gusto ng company Quiboloy is dadalhin na ito sa plenary, mga sila dyan. So, eto na yung drama ngayon. Kasi it really goes down to Zubiri. Because if Zubiri wants to buy yung mga delaying tactics ng kabila, na talaga magde-delay yan. Because it's really up to Zubiri now to issue na the next move. Diba? Ayon kay Zubiri, makakulong lang sa Senado sa hindi pagdalo sa pagdinig at hindi para sa mabibigat na paratang ng mga biktima laban sa kanya. Because after all, remember, the DOJ is also doing its own investigation. They'll have their own prosecutors to tackle this issue in the proper courts. So in a way, the Riza Ontiveros hearings is in aid of legislation in a sense, but also in aid of the ongoing investigations and the prosecutor's efforts at the DOJ. So let's see. So mukhang, unless I'm missing something, guys. Mukhang so long as ito si Zubiri ay how should I put it? Nag-acquiesce, alright, if I can put it nicely, dito sa mga delaying tactics ng group na yan, hindi mangyayari yung dapat mangyari ayon kay sa kampo nila Riza Ontiveros. So, yun ang naging problema natin ngayon. Sabi ko nga, ang suspecha ko dito is, baka kasi hinintay nila na bumalik muna si BBM. Nasa Czech Republic pa si BBM, di ba? Hintayin nila muna na bumalik si BBM kasi this is a very sensitive issue eh. This is a matter of national... May pagka-national security yan kasi baka manggugulo yung iba dyan, di ba? Not to mention, dahil medyo involved talaga mga Dutertes because of the Quiboloy Duterte connections, and Sara Duterte also coming out todo in defense of Quiboloy. Speaking of that, actually si Riza Ontiveros kanina, meron siyang statement also dito sa sinasabi ni Sara Duterte na parang wait lang, parang sila pang biktima, di ba? Sorry, I'm just trying to nasabi yung Twitter ko dito. Ito, nahanap ko na. So ito guys So ito. Pat yan ang picture na kinuha nila. Okay, so grabe naman yung picture. Pat yung picture ni Sarah ganon, guys. Wag naman kayo ganon. Piliin niyo naman yung magandang picture. Hi guys! Hi! Gusto ko lang magpasalamat sa yan. Dapat ganon yung mga picture niya doon. Yung mga ganon, yan. Ayan, okay, basahin natin guys Hi guys! Okay. Ito nakapagtataka kapag ang administrasyon or at least the office of the vice president must dedepensahin pa nila yung precisely isang tao na accused of the worst crimes against the most vulnerable of our society. Diba? Kasi yung Department of Education Secretary natin, yung Vice Presidente natin, side by take the side or at least not automatically dismiss yung side of yung mga kababayan natin na powerless, kababayan natin na walang boses, na nagkaroon lang boses dahil sa tapang ni Risa, dahil saan yung mga ibang kababayan na senador na parating sinasabi na sila po ay advocate ng women rights, o mga tahimik sila dyan, o yung mga pawok-wok dyan na ibang senador dati, o nasaan na sila ngayon. Now, nagkaroon lang sila ng boses dahil kay Riza Ontiveros, sa tapang ni Riza Ontiveros, sa conviction politics ni Riza Ontiveros. But ito nga yung sinasabi niya, di ba? Ito yung sinasabi ni Riza Ontiveros na bakit ganon? Ang tinitake pa na side, yung side of the powerful. Hindi yung side ng ating mga kababayan, the ordinary, the voiceless, and in this case, allegedly victims of really, really heinous crimes. So let's see what will Zubiri do again kasi yun nga nakahanap ng yung isang kampo di ba? Kasi at the end of the day, the Senate President has to sign itong warrant of arrest for things to move. But yun nga, suspecha ko talaga this has to do also with BBM being out of the country and then waiting for BBM to come back para alam na this. On that note, thank you very much mga kameta. We'll update you and I'll post more articles and all as more updates come on this issue. Tomorrow, God willing, also, abangan, RRM ulit. Kung RRM last week, RRM naman ngayon. Pag-usapan natin itong saga ni Quiboloy. Pag-usapan natin itong secret deal ni Digong with China. Allegedly secret deal that some are saying is potentially, well, alam niyo na, letter T word. Okay. Pag-usapan natin na yan tomorrow. Thank you so much, guys, again for this fantastic conversation. As you know, free-flowing lang tayo. Yung mga nagsasabi na bakit ang dami mong mga cover, this is conversational, guys. This is conversation. This is dialogical. Alright, ganun style natin. If you want systematic ganun, go and Google my name and all my articles come out, including itong latest article natin on the Indonesian elections and how it eerily replicates the unity election in the Philippines in 2022. And of course, feel free to check our interviews around the world with CNN, BBC, whatnot. On that note, thank you very much. God bless and talk to you soon. Maraming salamat, guys. Oh, by the way, kung may tanong kayo sa RRM, sige, RRLM, medyo LM, medyo okay. Baka okay. Tingnan natin mamaya kasi what I'm hoping also is to down the road to also arrange in-person kind of sit-down discussion, siguro somewhere outside, I don't know, Tagaytay or whatever, yung ganun type, yung mga medyo US podcast style. Let's see what we can do in the meantime. But guys, bot naman, ito na naman yung mga troll boys. Kamusta Sir Pedro? No, okay. Alright, okay. Anyway, so medyo in and out of country tayo, but we'll try to arrange something on that, God willing. So talk to you guys soon. All right, and tomorrow ihabol natin itong RRM naman nito bago tayo tayo rin kasi mag quote unquote pasyal din, but actually work again, all right? Out of the country. Thank you very much, guys. Talk to you soon, and thank you so much sa lahat ng mga sumuporta sa atin, all your support, your comments, your suggestions, your stars, your support, all of that. Mahalaga yan dahil hindi naman libre gumawa ng mga okay. Alright, but hopefully I'll talk to sila Chris, I'll talk to Mark, among others kung makaka-arrange sana tayo ng itong mga ano bang pinagsasabi nitong TikTok na to? Inactive daw tayo. Nagsasalita pa ako kanina isang oras talaga mga hater tong isang tong app na to. Okay. On that note, thank you very much. God bless and talk to you soon. Salamat, guys. Thank you. Durog na daw yung mga troll, sabi ng mga kameta natin on TikTok. Thank you very much. Maraming salamat. Oh, you got more views than 92% of live creators. Ayan, with similar following. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much sa mga TikTok followers natin. And thank you, of course. Saludo, mi gente, my people, YouTubers. Let's go. Para sa bayan. Alright, God bless. And talk to you soon. Maraming salamat. God bless. Talk to you soon.